We all want control over our careers, our relationships, our future. We plan, predict, and prepare, but life always finds a way to surprise us. Here's the truth. Control is the greatest illusion we live with. We think it gives us power, but most of the time, it drains it. The more we try to hold on, the more we lose our peace. And the moment we learn to let go, truly let go, that's when real power begins. Today, we'll explore why our obsession with control holds us back, and how surrendering, not struggling, is the key to strength, focus, and freedom. From childhood, we're taught to take charge, control your grades, control your behavior, control your destiny. But as adults, we start to realize the world doesn't bend to our plans. Traffic happens, people change, markets crash, love fades. Yet our mind still clings to the fantasy that if I just try harder, I can make everything go my way. This is the illusion, the belief that control equals safety. But safety built on illusion always collapses. The human brain hates uncertainty. It's wired to seek patterns, predict outcomes, and remove threats. When things feel unpredictable, your brain panics, so it creates routines, rules, and rigid beliefs just to feel safe. That's why we plan every detail and get angry when things change. We mistake control for peace when it's actually fear in disguise. We like to think life follows logic. If I do good, good things happen. But life is not a formula, it's a flow. Sometimes the best opportunities come from failure. Sometimes rejection redirects you to your purpose. The moment you accept that you can't predict everything, you begin to live with less fear and more freedom. Letting go isn't about carelessness, it's about trust. Control gives comfort, but too much of it breeds anxiety. You start overthinking every move, every message, every outcome. You can't rest because your brain is always on. You're scared to fail, to look wrong, to lose grip. But here's the irony. The tighter you hold, the more things slip away. The best conversations, relationships, and ideas happen when you stop forcing them. At the heart of control lies ego, the voice that says, I must manage everything. Ego wants certainty because uncertainty feels like weakness. But true strength isn't about forcing outcomes, it's about adapting to them. Ego says, I must be right. Wisdom says, I'm open to learning. When you quiet the ego, you gain back your peace, and ironically, your influence. Here's the paradox. The more you try to control, the less control you actually have. And the more you release, the more power you gain. Why? Because power is about alignment, not domination. You can't control the wind, but you can adjust your sails. The greatest leaders, creators, and thinkers master this art. They don't force outcomes, they flow with them. Letting go doesn't mean giving up, it means giving space. Space for clarity, growth, and peace to emerge. When you stop trying to control everything, you stop fighting life and start collaborating with it. That's when miracles happen. You notice opportunities, meet the right people, and find balance naturally. Think of a river, calm yet powerful. It moves around obstacles effortlessly. Now think of a rock, solid, rigid, always resisting. Over time, the flowing water shapes the rock itself. Be the river, not the rock. Flexibility outlasts force every single time. We often try to control people, how they feel, how they respond, how they love us. But love isn't control, it's choice. The moment you allow others the freedom to be themselves, you also free yourself from disappointment. Control creates pressure. Trust creates connection.
You can plan your work, prepare deeply, and still fail. That's not weakness, that's reality. The key is effort without attachment. Do your best, but don't tie your worth to results. You'll notice your creativity rise, your stress drop, and your decisions become smarter because they're not driven by fear. Flow is that state where you're fully present, not forcing, not resisting. Athletes, artists, and thinkers thrive in it. You can't control flow. You enter it by letting go of control. You stop worrying about the outcome and immerse in the process. That's where greatness lives. There comes a moment when you realize control never gave you peace. Surrender did. That moment changes everything. You stop fighting life and start flowing with it. That's the birth of true confidence, not the fake kind that comes from control, but the real kind that comes from trust. When you finally accept that life is uncertain, you begin to feel free. Uncertainty isn't chaos, it's possibility. It's the space where growth, discovery, and change happen. When everything is planned, there's no room for magic. But when you let life surprise you, new paths open that you never imagined. The illusion of control makes you believe that only your plan will work, but real power lies in trusting that even if plans fail, you'll still find your way. Surrender doesn't mean giving up. It means giving in to reality with awareness. It's the courage to face what is instead of fighting what should be. When you stop trying to control everything, you stop exhausting your energy on the impossible. You start channeling it toward what actually matters, your choices, your attitude, your growth. Surrender is not losing control. It's realizing you never needed it to begin with.
The illusion of control is seductive. It whispers that if you just manage every detail, if you just plan perfectly, if you just push hard enough, then nothing will go wrong. It promises security, certainty, and safety. But the truth is, that kind of control is an illusion. Life doesn't bend to our will. People don't always behave as we expect. Circumstances shift, plans change, and the tighter we try to grip, the more we feel like we're losing our hold. True peace, the kind that feels steady, calm, and unshakable, doesn't live in control. It lives in surrender. Not surrender as giving up, but surrender as acceptance. Acceptance of what is, rather than endless struggle against what isn't. When you stop trying to force the world to fit your expectations, you stop exhausting yourself on things beyond your reach. You stop fighting battles that were never yours to fight. When you let go of the need to control, you gain a deeper, quieter control, the control over yourself, your thoughts, your emotions, your reactions. You start choosing how you respond instead of reacting out of fear or frustration. You reclaim your energy from the chaos of trying to orchestrate everything around you and redirect it toward what truly matters, your mindset, your focus, your intentions. Focus on what you can change, your habits, your perspective, your attitude, your choices. These are your power zones, the areas where your energy is effective, where effort brings results. This is where real strength emerges. It's not in gripping harder, planning every contingency, or predicting every outcome. It's in calmly steering your own inner world while letting the outer world unfold as it will. Letting go doesn't mean weakness. It's a radical act of courage. It takes trust, trust in yourself, trust in life, trust in the unseen flow of events. And paradoxically, the moment you release control, you discover a kind of freedom you couldn't have had while clinging. You see more clearly, think more creatively, and act with intention rather than compulsion. Real power begins not in holding tighter, but in finally letting go. It begins in acceptance, in patience,
in aligning your energy with what truly matters. When you surrender, you stop resisting life and start flowing with it. And in that flow, you become unshakable. You become resilient. You become free. Because life doesn't reward those who cling. It rewards those who adapt, who respond, who master themselves. And mastering yourself, your mind, your energy, your reactions, is the truest form of control.